Hi, let's talk about the international flow of funds and exchange rates. By the end of this particular unit, you should be able to, number one, explain the balance of payments for a country. Number two, describe the foreign exchange market and its components. And three, discuss the development of international monetary systems. So let's start with the balance of international payments. And let's define what balance of payment is, or BOP. So BOP refers to a statement of account that summarizes all transactions between the residents of one country and the rest of the world for a given period of time, usually for a year. A country's BOP is an objective standard, meaning it can show how well the country's economy and government policies are performing. And since the BOP is based on a system of credits and debits, it must always balance. The BOP has two major components. One is the current account and two, the financial account. Please take note of this. In flow of funds analysis, money moving into a country is a credit represented by a plus sign, while money leaving the same country is a debit represented by a negative sign. So let's talk about the current account. So the current account of the BOP is largely driven by activities of consumers and businesses. It consists of the following sub-accounts. One is goods balance, two, services balance, three, income balance, and four, net transfers. The goods balance is the net of merchandise exports and merchandise imports. And note that if the goods balance is represented by a plus sign, it represents exports or we have incoming dollars. If it is a negative sign, it represents imports or outgoing dollars. The second one is the services balance, which is the net of exports of services and imports of services like shipping, airlines, consulting, insurance, banking, tourism, software development, and other services. If the services balance is positive, it represents services sold overseas. And if it is a negative sign, it represents services purchased from overseas. The third sub-account is the income balance, which is the net of investment income from abroad and investment income paid to foreigners. If it is a positive sign, it represents earnings from overseas investment. And if it is negative, it means payments are sent overseas. Last is the balance of transfers, which is the net of transfer payments between countries. And if it is a positive sign, it means repayment of foreign aid loans. If it is a negative sign, it means a payment that is going abroad as foreign aid retirement benefits. Oh, by the way, balance of transfer also include the remittances. The sum of these aforementioned sub-accounts equals the current account balance. So whether the current account balance is positive or surplus or negative, means deficit, it is important because it provides a measure of the financing needs of a particular country. Now, let's talk about the current account of the Philippines for its first quarter, January to March 2024. By the way, this info is based on the report of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Focusing on the year 2024, as you can see, for our goods balance, we have a negative 14.7 billion, which represents a deficit. So it simply implies that our country is really into more imports over exports. Well, the good thing here is comparing it with the previous year, 2023, there is a narrowing of the gap. And based on the report of the BSP, this is primarily due to the increase of exports of electronic products, copper concentrates, as well as coconut oil. Next is for the services balance. So we have a positive 3.9 billion. So this particular number or amount is simply because of the sustained residents spending on travel services, as well as other financial services and other tech or trade-related business services. Though it is much lower than the previous year, well, the good thing is it's still positive. Next is the primary income. For the year 2024, as you can see, we have an overwhelming increase in the primary income with an amount of 1.4 billion. And this amount is simply because of a higher interest receipts from reserve assets of our country and residents' investment abroad. And last is the secondary income with an amount of 7.6 billion. So this value is simply because of the inward remittances of non-resident overseas Filipino workers. And it is also because of the decrease in payments on other current transfers such as less foreign aid, pension, and remittances sent abroad. Next, let's talk about the financial account. And the financial account tracks the flow of capital into and out of a country through various financial transactions. It consists of the following: direct investment, portfolio investment, financial derivatives, and other investments. Note that in the financial account, applying the double entry system rule, positive is an outflow and negative is an inflow. Take note that a financial account shows how the country's current account balance is financed. Note also that foreign countries or foreign investors will be less willing to continue investing in current account deficit countries for extended periods of time because of the perceived risk of non-payment of debt. And that's why investors would consider having a risk premium, which is an added return required by investors for risks associated with the security or assets. And that's why it is common in the investing and generally in the business world, the adage, the higher the risk, the higher the return. Things relating to financial account are the following. We have FDI or foreign direct investment, which encompasses the purchases of fixed assets such as factors and equipment abroad used in the manufacture and sales of goods and services for local consumption or even for export purposes. Next, we have security investments, which represents stocks, bonds, mutual funds, exchange traded funds, or other types of investments that you can buy or sell. So financial capital flows between countries in search of higher rates of return on foreign stocks and bonds. So let's talk about the sub-accounts of the financial account. Let's start with the direct investment, which involves long-term investments in a country by a foreign entity or by a domestic entity in a foreign country. So note that if we have a positive sign in the direct investment, it represents net outflows, which means domestic investors are making more direct investments abroad. If it is a negative sign, it represents net inflows, wherein foreign investors are making direct investments domestically. The second one is portfolio investment, which refers to the investments in financial assets for short-term purposes, such as stocks, bonds, and other securities. If portfolio investment is positive, it represents net outflow, which means domestic investors are purchasing more foreign securities than foreigners are buying domestic securities. If it is a negative sign, it presents net inflow, meaning foreign investors are purchasing more domestic securities. Third is the financial derivatives, which cover transactions involving contracts like futures, options, and swaps, often used for risk management or speculation. Even the concept of hedging is included here. Anyway, if it is a positive sign, it represents net liability to foreign entities, wherein payments for derivative contracts exceed receipts. So by the way, net liability position means that the value of our external liabilities exceeded the value of our external financial assets. Next, if it is a negative sign, it represents a net asset position wherein receipts from foreign derivative contracts exceed payments. And that net asset position means that the value of our external financial assets exceeds the value of our external liabilities. Third is other investment, which includes all other financial transactions that don't fall under the previously stated sub-accounts. It primarily covers loans, deposits, trade credits, and other types of financial instruments. And if it is a positive sign, it represents a net outflow wherein local entities lend or deposit funds abroad more than they borrow or accept deposits from foreign entities. And if it is a negative sign, it represents net inflow, wherein foreign entities lend to or deposit funds in the domestic economy. Lastly, there is what we call as a statistical discrepancy in the balance of payments. So while the financial account balance is intended to offset the imbalance in our current account, the offset is not complete. This statistical discrepancy line reconciles any remaining imbalance to ensure that all debit and credit entries in the BOP statement sum to zero. Because in practice, the balances in the current and financial accounts don't always match. Okay, why? Because there is a possibility of either having incomplete data, errors in the records, and other possible factors that might impact why these two records don't match. And that's why we have the statistical discrepancy to ensure that the BOP is still balances even if there are small inaccuracies in the data. Now, let's talk about the financial account of the Philippines for the first quarter, January-March 2024. So, yeah, this record is based still on the report of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. So let's start with the direct investments. So we have a negative 2.3 billion net inflows. And this value is simply because of the expansion in foreign direct investments. Aside from that, the increase in the net inflows is simply because of the decline in residents' net investment in foreign financial assets, meaning that the residents of our nation are moving away from foreign financial assets, and there's possibility that they are now investing in the domestic economy. Next is portfolio investment, and as you can see in the 2024 record, we have a negative 58 million net inflow. So this number is due to the increase in non-residents net placements in debt securities, meaning foreigners acquiring bonds and loans domestically. Third is the financial derivatives. And as you can see, we have a negative 61 million net inflows, and it is much higher amount than the previous year. So for our financial derivatives, the increase is simply because of our net gains through our hedging, spot and forward transactions, and interest swaps activities. Last is other investment. And for our 2024 record, we have a negative 2.5 billion net inflows. And comparing it with the 2023 record, we have a decline in this particular account. And this decline is attributed because of the withdrawal of residents' investments in foreign financial assets. So because of that withdrawal, so it happened that we have basically fewer investments from abroad, contributing, and that contributes rather to a lower capital inflow into our domestic economy. And overall, for our financial account, we have a negative 4.9 billion net inflows, though it is much lower again from the previous year. So take note of this. So if the capital and financial account is positive, it means that the country has more debits than credits, making it a net debtor to the world, which means that there is an increase in liabilities to other economies or a reduction of claims in other countries. So since we have a negative amount in our financial account, do you think that we are actually doing good? Well, the next part is understanding the balance of payment based on the reference of our current account and financial account. Now, let's talk about the balance of payments of the Philippines for its first quarter. And as you can see here, the overall BOP position is 238 million surplus for the year 2024. So initially you might be saying that, wow, that is a good amount because it's still a surplus. But comparing it with the previous year of the same quarter, we have 3.5 billion. So as you can see in this particular record, we have a very big decline in our BOP position. So the decline in our BOP position is mainly due to the fact that we have lower net inflows as recorded in our financial account. Particularly, we have a very low net inflows in our other investment account. So even if we have a negative in our financial account, the negative is much lower than the previous year as well, right? Anyway, so what does this value mean this time? Take note that a decrease in the balance of payment compared to the previous quarter often reflects reduced foreign currency inflows or increased outflows, signaling economic challenges such as lower exports, reduced foreign investment, or higher debt repayments.